Oh my gosh, you're here.
Welcome to My Chatbot Life, where chatbot marketers share high converting strategies in this new conversational marketplace. Each week, MKJ introduces you to bot builders who are just like you, a little techie, a little markety, and a whole lot of geeky. Buckle up as Chatbot Mom enjoys another journey into My Chatbot Life.
All right, my chatbot lifers, my bot buddies, welcome to the conversation. I get to chat with, really, we were sitting there for half an hour chatting about other things before I hit record. So my dear, dear, dear friend, Stephanie Dove Blake, she gets to join me on the podcast today. And I'm telling you, based on what I know of this lady, you're going to hold on to your seats and hold on to your hats because we are going to be flying quick. Hey there, Stephanie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing so great. It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Every time I talk about anything in conversational marketing, chatbots, funnels, anything like that, I think of you. So to have this podcast without you would be a shame, absolute shame. So, all right, we talked about a basic introduction before off of our conversation separately. So everybody knows kind of a basics about you and who you are and what you do. But let's start with, what did you do as a job before you learned about chatbots and messenger marketing and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Okay. So before I learned about chatbots, since it feels like it's been recent, right? But before that, I've run an agency. So I ran a digital ads agency where I do Facebook ads and funnels. And so then chatbots came on the scene and I was head over heels in love.
You and me both.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you love about it?
The thing that I loved about it the most was the potential to have real conversations and real connections with the people that we're talking to, and specifically for my clients, even, for myself as an entrepreneur, but for my clients, even, I knew that there's a level of distrust, right? Whenever, especially a lot of my agency, a large majority of my clients are chiropractors. And so whenever, there's always this negative stigma around chiropractic. And once you get cracked, you got to keep coming back, all these things. And so I knew that if I could help them to be able to have conversations and connect, that was the first thing that really drew me in, was that how much higher would the know, like, and trust factor fly if there was a real conversation happening where they normally talk to their family and friends. And then, of course, the 80 to 90% open rates helped a lot.
Yeah. That hooked us all in the beginning, didn't it?
Right? It was like, wait, what? Record scratch.
I know. Definitely. Car screeching halt. What?
Yeah. Game changer, for sure.
Yeah, it was. And then same with click-through rates. Obviously it depends on how long your flows are, how many interactions you have, what you're talking about. But those click-through rates, you can't touch those anywhere else.
No, you sure can't. It's amazing. And the things that we've seen over the years have just been absolutely game-changing for the businesses that we've worked with. And so it's definitely, and that's the crazy part, is I think a lot of people came to the most recent mini chat conference and we're kind of like, oh, is this the death of the chatbot? And like, if anything, it's like the rebirth of the chatbot. Like, there's so much happening and it's not going anywhere. It's just vamping up. So we're in a good place at a good time.
Oh my gosh, especially if you are really focused on that conversation, like you mentioned. If you're actually focused on really helping the customer and finding out what they need, and if they don't need what you have, allowing them an opportunity to exit. As long as you have that attitude, chatbots definitely are not going anywhere. Somebody asked me that the other day, are chatbots dead? And I'm like, that's the first I've heard of it. Actually, no, it was earlier today. Someone asked me, chatbots, so-and-so told me chatbots are dead. What do you think about that? I'm like, what?
Nope.
What? No. I'm consulting with companies who are taking chatbots to beyond individual platforms, chatbots that are independent of app.
Yes.
So they're not going anywhere. Except to the stratosphere. So you better hang on. Yes. How did you learn how to create these things? What did you use to figure this stuff out?
Well, my background prior to running my agency was in network engineering and management. So I was a big geek. I love to network computers together, and I like got my MCSE and my A plus plus and like and then like I've always been into like the back end and how things work together, and so whenever I dove in, I kind of went in it the long way and started trying to learn. Um, Everything I could on my own before I really, gosh, what were the earlier ones that I played with? I'm trying to think of what the name of the one was that I played with the most, but it wasn't until I really found ManyChat and that things like completely changed. And then big shout out, of course, to Andrew Werner. That was the first course that I took that got me out of the muck and mire of like trying to figure out all the stuff on my own. And like, I learned from him and the gentleman that he had in that course. And
Tam Fam. Yes.
yeah, Tam Fam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
love him.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so that was kind of the jump start. I'd already started building some stuff, but that just kind of gave me some insights into the tech side of like, oh, that's how you make that part work. That's how you do that part. And then from there, it was just off to the races and super fun.
Yeah. And just keeping up on everything, right? I mean, it really is fast becoming, oh, that's right. How do you do this user input stuff? And oh, now we get text and now we get email right inside ManyChat. And what's that one flow where you can go out to an API call? And I mean, it's like you can very, very quickly lose track if you don't
Absolutely.
pay attention.
Yeah, you have to stay up, especially if you want to get the most out of the bots that you're building for yourself or for other people. Being able to stay on the forefront of kind of what's going on and play around with the new features like the SMS and the email. I mean, seriously, Mikkel just totally blew everybody out of the water. It was so funny. I don't know if you had this experience, but like as he was talking about things like the date and time format that was released, and then a couple other things like that, I like everybody around me, we were standing up and we were cheering, and I was like, I have found my home of geeks. Like who stands up like this and cheers over features inside of software?
I know. I know. That's exactly. I keep telling people would ask me, should I go to that conference? I mean, I don't know. I'm like, dude, if you build these things, if you are in ManyChat, you need to be at that conference because you will meet people who are just like you.
Agreed.
And you will form lifelong relationships because nothing builds a relationship better than face-to-face.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true.
Definitely. Yeah. So I want to unpack a little bit because I know lots of people struggle with using Facebook ads to specifically get inside a bot.
Mm-hmm.
And to start a conversation. And I know that's changing drastically. So because you understood Facebook ads before, and then you brought bots, and then you basically just connect the two, totally makes sense. But how have you adapted your whole process with all the changes? Because now with the send a message, and you can actually do the sponsored message from right inside ManyChat, and you can actually start a conversation bypassing the get started button.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
How have you been adapting to that and keeping up to date on that and helping your customers and your clients change their ad strategy based on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think whenever I first got started, I had limited vision on what was possible with bots. And so I really approached everything from a top of funnel, like lead gen type situation. And so it was just all about the lead gen. But then, I don't know, about a year in or whatever, I started recognizing and understanding that this is so much deeper. Like you can retarget and have, even whenever people are super hot, you can show them ads and say, hey, let's have a conversation. Click below. If you're still on the fence, like, let's talk about this. Just click below. I'm right here waiting to chat with you. And so the realization that it didn't have to be just, lead generation here, get them over to the sales page there. Like, it genuinely can be a full funnel thing. And so starting to work that into different needs of different clients that I had for reactivation campaigns and all sorts of stuff, it became a very much so more holistic than just one dimensional.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree 100%. And that I think is what keeps it so fun for me, at least, is to really see all those dimensions and how they change and, sparkle in the sunlight. It's so fun. It's so fun. So how did you've been how long have you been running an agency?
Almost, I guess, 3.5 years. Yeah.
So but before that, you were running an agency before you saw bots. So were you only running an agency before bots for 6 months or a year or longer than
Yeah,
that?
no, legit. Like, so before that, my story goes that I was a stay-at-home mom. Like, I have 4 children. I was homeschooling, and I was doing a job online with another company, and the company was sold. It was the first job I ever had working online, and I thought I had hit like a gold mine,
Yeah,
like
totally.
I get to stay at home and be with my kids and work. What? Like, mind blown, right?
I know.
And so, because before, like I said, my background's in network engineering and management, it was always about being in corporate, right? And I had spent some time working for family, building some online uh, resources, but that was still, it was it was my father-in-law's business, right? And I'm building for that.
Mhm.
So anyway, whenever I was working for that business, they were sold. The company was sold. And I thought, oh, I'll never find another job like this ever. Like I was unaware there were such things as VAs or any of this other stuff. And so, but I had loved learning, period, just loved learning. And so when that business knew that. And so in order to keep me happy and pacified, they'd feed me courses. And so they fed me a course by Billy Jean. It was his original Clicks into Customers course. I got into that. And once they sold the bit company, I was like, laying in bed with my husband, like, what are we going to do? Like, he's working 2 jobs. He couldn't work any more jobs. Things were so tight. And like, I just didn't know how we were going to function. And I said, what do you think about me starting my own business and like try to do marketing for other people? And I expected him to be like, really? Like, I mean, he's always supportive, but anyway, he was like, yeah. And so I did it. I decided to reach out to a local chiropractor that had changed my life, had helped me with my back, and it literally changed my life. And asked if I could run some ads for him. Like, blew up his office in the best way possible, where he had an extra almost $60,000 at the end of that month because of what I did for him. So asked him to do a webinar with me for all of his chiropractic buddies, and he brought them onto a webinar. And I think he brought like 10 guys, and 9 out of 10 of those guys signed up. And so I just started hustling, just started going, serving. How do we make this better? How do we get this? How do we get more leads? How do we do that? And just kept growing and growing and growing. And, now we do serve a lot of chiropractors, but we serve, infopreneurs and e-commerce clients as well. And just love it. So it's, but so that was only 3.5 years ago. And then bots came on the scene about, I guess a year in.
Yeah.
And then I really dove in about 1.5 years, right there. And then, yeah, I've been in it for a good 2 years, I think now.
Wow. And so through that time, yes, we've had crazy, amazing trajectories up.
Yes.
But I guarantee you, just like everyone else, there have been days where you're like, what the heck am I doing? How is this going to work? What about this? Difficulties. What's
I had
the
one of
biggest?
those days 2 days ago. I had to.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest business milestone you've had to overcome so far in 3.5 years? Believe me, that is amazing to still be here. And not just still be here, but still in that upward trajectory like you are. But what's the biggest business milestone or obstacle that you've had to overcome, and how did you do it?
For me, I really think it's, I'm in a constant state of learning to believe in myself. Mikhail Yang said at ManyChat, actually, he said that it's literally your job description as an entrepreneur to believe in yourself. And I was like, wow, that's really good. And that really stuck with me, because at the beginning of my journey, I was hopeful, and I was moving out of desperation and out of helping my family. Right. And there's, when a woman is in need to provide and to help, like just like a husband, like we will go after it. We will do anything it takes. Right.
Get out of our way. Yep.
Yes. We'll make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in the quiet moments, like I would have to fight. Like, who do I think I am? Like, there are so many other people who could do this better than me. Why do I get to do this? Or like, what if I mess this up tomorrow? What if 3 clients quit because of whatever random reason? Then this is all messed up and everything blows up. Like, all of that stuff just used to weigh down on me so much more than it does now. Like I said, 2 days ago, totally had that moment, like, like, what's going to happen if this happens? But it's the belief that, like, even if something did happen, the worst case scenario, even if it did happen, I know that I will pull myself up by my bootstraps and I will figure it out. And so will my husband, right? Like, we're a team. We're going to do this. Like, it won't matter. And I think it was Myron Golden who said, and I'm totally going to butcher this, but I want to try to see if I can get the thought across, but it's that anxiety is nothing but fear of an imagined outcome. Like, it's just an imagined outcome. It's not even, it's not even necessarily has even happened yet.
It's not real.
Yet, yeah, it's not real. And I was like, like, it's not real. And like, having this anxiety is just so unfounded. And to counter that with belief that no matter what comes, no matter what happens, you're going to figure it out and it's going to be okay. And that you have what it takes, right? And that you are worthy, and that, you know, all of that stuff. So at the beginning of my journey, what I used to do is I had certain songs that I would listen to.
Yes.
And sometimes I would have to get up in the morning and almost kind of be on a warpath of like, you know, like I had to like fight for my mindset.
Yes.
I had to decide that today was going to be a winning day. It wasn't going to be, oh my God, I don't know what to do about that. And I don't know about this. And what happens with this? And I'm sure there's somebody out there who could tell me the right way to do this, but this is all I know to do. And like, just moving forward no matter what, and fighting for that belief that you can do it, and not letting it stop you, because at any given point I could have stopped. And there's been so many tremendous things that have happened. Like I was able to bring my husband home, right? Like, I was able to put my second son, he found out he has dyslexia. I was able to put him in a school that specifically helps kids with this, as well as my little brainy firstborn girl. Like, there's no way I would even try to homeschool her, you know, like I was able to put her in this really amazing university model school. And just able to create memories that were never possible before with my family. And we were able to move into a house where everybody has a bedroom and I have an office. What? Like, before I was running my office out of my bedroom, and like there would be early mornings that I'm like recording something and my husband's snoring behind the thing. And I'm like, John, stop. I'm going into a call, you know? So like, it's been a wild, wild ride, but I think that belief has got to be the biggest thing that I can't say I've overcome it, because I believe that as we go up different levels in our business, it's like you need different levels of belief. Yes. And it seems like every time I'm having to challenge myself to go farther, and to believe more, and to hope more, and to have bigger capacity to hold dreams and visions, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I could not have said that any better. I'm here to say, you know, all of our wonderful people listening, it doesn't stop. It just goes to a different level, because what happens is once you open that door to once you overcome that and you open that up and you get beyond whatever boundary is sitting in front of you. And I'm telling you, Stephanie, I agree 100%. We have to fight every day, because some days are great, some days aren't. Somebody might say something that just triggers something, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Why did that person trigger me so much that now I feel terrible about myself and think that
is that true?
Yeah. Exactly. And so there are different levels of that, but once you overcome one difficulty like that, there's another door that used to be a wall that you didn't even know there was a possibility you could get past that, because you didn't even know it existed.
Yes.
And until you open this door, you don't know about that next one. And it doesn't stop. But the difference is it gets a little easier each time, because you have more successes behind you of overcoming things. That's why I really do feel I've heard, and I don't remember, I'm sorry if I don't remember the quote, the person who quoted it or said it, but it really is, when you show me someone who is extremely successful, I'll show you all the failures they had to get there.
Yes, absolutely.
It is that way. No one has a completely smooth path. It doesn't exist anywhere that I know of. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for saying that, because just a couple days ago, it happened to me too. Actually, just yesterday.
And I think that's the good stuff, because again, Myron Golden,
he's amazing. I got to give a shout out. He's incredible.
He truly is. But one of the things that he talks about, and I think this actually comes from a book called The Obstacle is the Way.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So he talks about how, why do you think you're qualified to be at the top of the mountain? Like climbing up the mountain actually qualifies you to have reached the top of Mount Everest. Like sometimes we just think that we're supposed to get up there and like no bumps, no bruises, no scrapes.
Or just be dropped off by a helicopter. No.
Yes. And that this whole thing of going up the mountain, it's like a part of the journey. It's what qualifies you to get there. And if we can learn not to begrudge our journey, not to, look at it with disdain or frustration because it's not somebody else's journey, which probably is way more polished just because you're looking at it from social media, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And in reality, it's just embracing the journey right where you are, whether it's at the beginning part, middle part, you're towards if there ever is an end part. I don't think there ever is, but like whichever part you're at, like appreciating the battles that you have to fight and the victories that you win in the stage that you're in, and not being so disgruntled that you're not somewhere else. Instead, you're right where you are,
There's another book. I haven't read that one yet. The Obstacle is the Way, but there are two others that have impacted me recently. Number one is The Untethered Soul, which
Ooh.
I really needed the other day. And I'm so glad I had just listened to, because that opportunity to utilize that information just hit me right in the face. And then the other one is The War of Art.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love.
I literally have it in books over there, like right now, because can't recommend. And you know what? One more too, I want to throw into the mix if we're kind of naming books. I recently, for the first time, hired a mindset coach. Okay. And so I've been in masterminds since I started. Like I felt like I need wisdom, and I've never done this before. So I've been in masterminds since I started, but I've always bought into masterminds because the guru, the person, had the swipe files, the funnel, the $1 million this, like the framework, right? It was always about a framework or something practical, right? Because then I could justify the expense. But it wasn't until recently that I invested in a mindset coach. And anyway, we've literally only had 2 sessions, but it's been the best money I think I've ever spent in all time in my business, because it's just been so incredible. And listen, let me tell you, the one thing she said to me the other day that's been so pivotal is she told me about morning pages. Have you ever heard of morning pages? Okay, so what morning pages is that you wake up in the morning and the very first thing you do is you roll out of bed, and no phone, no nothing, and you just grab a notebook or like a regular size notebook, and you just start writing a stream of consciousness. Anything you think that comes to your mind, you write it down. I can't believe I'm doing this. I wish I could just go back to sleep. My feet are cold. Is that the dog at the door? Like, what is going on? I wonder if the kids are awake. What is the temperature on anyway? Like, whatever you think, you're to write it down for 3 whole pages.
Wow.
And you just let it all start to come out first thing in the morning, even if you're dead dog tired, right? Like, you just get up and you do it. And, it is so crazy what starts to happen and what starts to come up for you that you get to hit head on at the beginning of your day before it starts to hit you during your day. And it has been so transformative. And it comes from this book called The Artist's Way. So it's called The Artist's Way. And she did not tell me to buy this book, but I did buy this book. And I just want to recommend that to every single person listening, because this book has been so revolutionary for me, because I don't often tend to think of myself as an artist, right? Like I make little artsy things every once in a blue moon, but I've never thought of myself as a creator or as an artist. But I just started seeing, as I was listening to this book and I was driving, and I saw, like, I looked back on my life and all of these different things I have created, even from middle school. When I was like in middle school, I was trying to start it was a morning Bible study at my middle school. And it was the cheesiest thing ever. Like, I'm literally embarrassed to admit, like, but it was called Cats, was our Bear Cats were our mascot, which was our Christians of America Today. Like, it was a little Bible study thing. Yeah. And I made a logo and I made a thing and I created this environment, and it was terrible. Nobody showed up, right? Like, but I was creating even at this age, right? And then later on, I created a candle carving company. I was just trying to have some money, and I was carving candles, literally like hot wax carving candles, trying to make these wedding candles. And I looked back and found all my old logos from different things and ventures, and I was like, I am an artist. I am a creator. Like, I was born to create and to make things and to fix things and to come up with new solutions. And that's what makes me an entrepreneur. Yes. And so this book is speaking to me on levels that I never even recognized. And she talks about the repressed artist and what happens and all these different things. And so she has exercises that you do. And anyway, I just highly suggest this book. It sounds a little like woo woo or whatever, but I'm telling you, it has been so great to hear that. I'm listening. It's Audible. I'm listening to it on Audible.
Yes.
And then do some of the exercises. But morning pages is supposed to be done literally just like, it's just something you do like every morning of the week.
But that makes sense because when you said really hit head on things first thing before they hit you head on later, because whatever you do wake up with, it's there, whether you acknowledge it or not, it's there, and it'll probably come up later because you haven't acknowledged it yet.
And there's a magical thing about the third page. I'm telling you, like nothing really comes up for the first page and a half, maybe even 2 pages. But on that third page, all of a sudden it's like, oh, here it is.
Yeah. Here's all the dirt.
Yeah, there's that inner critic coming out, like all the fear about like, because there's anxieties and things that we have about what we're going to encounter in our day.
Yes.
And so if you can deal with them before moving forward, then it makes your day so much better because you already have that frame of reference and it's not attacking you unbeknownst, right? Like it's you've already
out of the blue. Yeah, exactly. Wow, that is a great piece. I will definitely do that. That's The War of Art. It's on Audible, and I've listened to it at least 4 times.
That's so good.
I mean, it's really, really, and Untethered Soul, I'm about 3/4 of the way done. Again, in Audible. It's masterminds. Really, nothing happened in my business until I started investing in myself. Until I let go of that superhero solo entrepreneur.
I got this. Yes.
I can do everything. Nobody can do it like me. Nobody's learned it like I have. Nobody knows my business like nobody can do it like me. And I'm talking, I have lived in that space for at least 10 years.
Yes.
Kept myself really low, kept myself definitely capped until I started opening that up, asking for help, looking at other masterminds, looking at mentors. The first one I hired was Jamie Masters. She's just an amazing human being. Love her to death. And then it's gone from there. And Andrew Warner, all kinds of different people. Wow. So, all right. I cannot believe we've been talking for 50 minutes already. That's nuts.
Crazy.
That time flew. So let's go way, way into the future. I know all of us are going to live to like 150, I'm sure. So as long as I can chew still. But you way in the future, someone is going to write your biography. The biography of your life. What would the title of that book be?
What I would hope that it would be that, just simply that she loved well. I think that would be it. Yeah.
I think that fits you.
That's what I want. I want to move through this life, and seeing people for who they are and what they are and letting them be really seen and loved for the human that they are. And so I hope that I can be at the end of my days. And that's the thing that people have experienced is that she loved well. Yeah.
Completely. Wow. Who would write it for you, do you think?
I can imagine my daughter writing it whenever.
The brainy one?
Yes, the brainy one. Yeah. Either that or my oldest son, he's a writer. But I think so. My husband would definitely have input for sure. But I think I could see my daughter doing that for sure.
Yeah. And when your daughter, as an adult now, as a quite advanced and mature adult, can you imagine that?
Oh,
yeah.
Starting to happen.
Your daughter, as a very mature adult, looks back as she's writing this book and says, really wants to find a quote that she thinks you lived your life by. It could be your quote. It could be just something you make up, whatever. But how would she be able to put the way you lived your life into a quote?
Oh man. Well, I think there's one quote that my husband and I, we just keep coming back to. We were actually overseas in Thailand for a little while right after the tsunami, and we helped out with a lot of things. And there was this guy that we worked with, and we would come up with like tough decisions or stuff going wrong or somebody treating us wrong or yucky or whatever. And he would always just say, do what's right and trust Jesus with the rest. And, that just stuck with us over the years of like, our first obligation is just to do what's right, just to love. And it doesn't matter if someone's being ugly. It doesn't, none of that matters. And just do the best you can and do what's right. And then just trust God with the rest of it. Like, anything you can't handle, you just let it go. So, I mean, I feel like that's something that both my husband and I, we we lean into. And if I'm allowed to have two quotes, I want to quote my husband.
Yeah.
He came up with a quote, and it's also something that we live by, which is, he says that heroes are rare, so become one. And I just have always loved that so, so much. And so it's like, when in the absence of a hero, then, you are the hero. So in the situations that you're in and you find yourself in, if there's an absentee hero, then you're the hero on the spot, right?
Yep.
So do what you can, right?
Fill the shoes, do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Do what's right.
Yes.
That is, wow. Stephanie, thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I so appreciate the time that we've shared, the wisdom. I mean, there are so many things as you were talking that I could quickly and easily pull out and put on an Instagram post as a, piece of wisdom to live your life by, let alone just how to conduct business and how to do things effectively. So I just am so honored that you've shared your time with me. I know it is valuable, and I know the listeners are very grateful for your sharing that wisdom, because I know in that short period of time, it's not just what you did in the last 3.5 years. It's all the stuff before that set you up to be able to hit this out of the park the best you can. Each time up to bat, hit it out of the park as best you can. Some fouls, some strikeouts, all those things, but all that stuff that you experienced before you even started this agency prepared you to be able to handle it. And all of us, everything we're doing, it prepares us for the next thing coming. And if we can just sit back in that and take what Stephanie's just talked about and absorb it, live by it, our world will be a better place.
Well, thank you. And I just want to
you.
thank you to you, because ever since we first met, like, there has always just been something about you and just your presence and what you bring to the world. And I just thank you for showing up how you do, because it's beautiful and it's inspiring, and you're such a leader. And so I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for having me on. It's such an honor.
What a sweetie. Well, I think we can end it on that. What do you think?
I think it's good.
Thanks for listening to the My Chatbot Life podcast. To watch this video chat, visit mychatbotlife.com and get all the rocket boosters you need for your own chatbot success.